Think about the last time you had an idea in a meeting, and before saying it, you said, "I'm not sure this makes much sense, but..." That phrase may sound humble, but it's one of the quietest ways to damage your professional credibility. And chances are, you've said it sometime this week. There are people with solid results who have spent years being underestimated, not because their work isn't good, but because a few phrases they use automatically communicate the exact opposite of what they mean. Today, we're going to look at what those phrases are, what they're communicating without you realizing it, and what to say instead. Before any project gets delivered, the way someone speaks has already shaped how others see their confidence and competence. That perception is built through tiny words almost nobody recognizes as the problem. Here are the first three. Phrase 1. Asking for permission before saying what you came to say. The first one is asking for permission before saying what you came to say. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to bother you. I just wanted to mention something real quick. Think about what those words communicate before you even get to your point. The person listening automatically assumes the speaker isn't sure they deserve the space they're taking up. That signal arrives before the idea does. Even if what you say next is solid, it has already been filtered through that first impression. This habit didn't come out of nowhere. In most cases, it developed in environments where asking for permission before speaking was considered respectful or simply the right way to take the floor. What worked in a social setting became a sign of insecurity in a professional one, where presence and confidence carry a different kind of value. The problem isn't that the habit was wrong. It's that the context changed and the habit didn't. Instead, go straight in. If the meeting is already underway and you have something to add, say, "I'd like to add something to what was just said." Or simply make your point with a steady voice and no preamble. People don't give you space because you ask for permission. You earn it by speaking like someone who knows they have something worth saying. Phrase 2. I'm not sure this makes sense, but... The second phrase, and the most damaging of the five, is any version of, "I'm not sure this makes much sense, but..." Or, "I could be wrong, but..." Or, "This is just an idea. I'm not sure it's a good one." They all do the same thing. Think about what you're doing when you say that. You have an idea, and before you present it, you dismiss it. Not because you think it's wrong, but because you're afraid the person listening will reject it. So you get there first. You reject it yourself, out loud, in front of everyone. That communicates two things at the same time: that you don't trust your own thinking, and that you're looking for approval before taking up space. Neither is the message you want to send in a professional setting. Instead, present the idea first and invite discussion afterward. I have a proposal for our approval process. I'd like to know if anyone has concerns. That structure presents first and invites feedback second. The idea reaches the table without asking permission to be there. Phrase 3. I could be wrong, but... The third phrase is defensive anticipation. I could be wrong, but... I don't have all the information, but... You may already know this, but... The difference between this and the previous phrase matters. When you say, "I'm not sure this makes sense," you're questioning the idea. When you say, "I could be wrong," you're questioning yourself, not the argument, your ability to be right. They're two different kinds of insecurity, but they send the same message to the person listening. You already have doubts about what you're about to say. And this habit usually doesn't come from a lack of knowledge. It comes from the fear of looking like you don't have it. Saying that up front creates exactly the impression you were trying to avoid. Instead say, "This is my assessment. If there's something I'm missing, I'd like to know." Your position comes first. Your openness comes second. And the difference between those two is the difference between someone with sound judgment and someone looking for validation before speaking. Phrase 4. I'll try to do that. The fourth phrase is the shortest one, but also one of the most costly. I'll try to do that. The word try is something the brain processes as an escape clause. It signals that the speaker is already preparing for the possibility of not following through. The person listening hears, "This person isn't committing." They're leaving themselves an out. In an environment where trust is built through consistency between what people say and what they deliver, That one word carries a cumulative cost. Imagine two people responding to the same request. I need the market analysis by Thursday. The first replies, I'll try to have it ready by then. The second says, You'll have it Thursday. Both have the same workload, but the person making the request leaves with two very different impressions of who's likely to deliver and who's likely to show up on Wednesday with an excuse. The word you chose in 3 seconds shapes how people see you for the next 2 weeks. Instead, say, I'll have it to you Friday. I'll talk to the team this week. If there's a factor that could affect the deadline, say it clearly. I'll have it to you Friday unless the client changes the scope. That's precision, not avoidance. And it sounds completely different from saying you'll try. Phrase 5. Actually, when correcting someone. The fifth phrase is actually when you're correcting someone. Actually, the number is. Actually, what happened was. Actually, that's not exactly right. The problem isn't the correction. It's the word that introduces it. Actually suggests that what the other person said wasn't true, or was simply wrong. Even with a neutral tone, it carries an implied sense of superiority. That creates resistance, even when your correction is accurate. The other person starts defending their original position, not because they're right, but because they feel they've been dismissed. Instead, say, the updated number is, our data shows something different, or simply state the correct information. Based on the third quarter data, the percentage would be. That version corrects without confronting. It gets to the same result without creating unnecessary friction. The first thing you'll feel when you start changing these phrases is discomfort. Speaking directly without a preamble feels more aggressive than it really is. People who break this habit almost always feel like they're being too blunt, when all they're really being is clear. That discomfort is a sign the habit is changing. It's the space between the habit you're leaving behind and the one you haven't fully built yet. These 5 phrases show up most often in 3 situations. When you're talking to someone above you, when you're presenting results or proposals in meetings with more than 4 people, and when you're correcting or disagreeing with someone in front of others. If you start paying attention to your own language, those are the moments when autopilot takes over. Not casual lunches, not one-on-one conversations with coworkers at your level. The moments with the most pressure and visibility. That's where these habits are hardest to change, and where changing them makes the biggest difference. This week, pick just one of the 5 phrases you recognized in yourself. Every time you feel the urge to say it, pause for 2 seconds before you speak. Not to rehearse what you're going to say, but to choose the right order. The idea first. The doubt afterward if it's necessary. The message first. The apology never. Don't change all 5 at once. Change one until it no longer takes effort. Then move on to the next. The language that gives away your authority developed gradually. The language that builds authority does too. The person we met at the beginning of this video, the one who said, I'm not sure this makes much sense, before sharing their idea, didn't do it because they lacked a good argument. They did it because of a habit no one had ever pointed out. And every time they repeated it, it cost them credibility. Professional authority is built slowly and erodes quickly. It doesn't take one big mistake. It takes an accumulation of small phrases that keep sending the same message. I don't trust what I'm about to say. When you change your language, you change perception. And perception shapes how people see you, what opportunities they offer you, and the role you play in the conversations that matter. There's another moment when language shapes your professional image, and almost nobody works on it consciously. We'll cover that in the next video.